Okay, this is a quick video to talk to you about Idaho geodes. Geodes found in Western Idaho and Eastern Oregon, I guess, so Idaho and Oregon geodes. These are mostly chalcedony nodules, and these were found in the Sucker Creek area or near the Snake River in various volcanic formations. This particular geode came from part of the batholith just in the Owyhees, Silver City, and this is out of my silver claim up there. This is a botryoidal geode that was found at Graveyard Point in the volcanic formations there. Here's another example of botryoidal geode, and this one is a nodule. This is an interesting little geode here. This has moss agate in it, so eventually I'll cut that to try and expose the moss agate, and it has these tube agate formations coming out of it. These nodules also came from the same area as the moss agates, and they've got quartz crystal formations inside of them. This has a quartz druzy in it, kind of an interesting nodule there. Some of these nodules are quite fragile. This one's a botryoidal nodule formation. Obviously it broke here. And here's a few other examples of broken bits of various nodules. Here's one with some quartz druzy. And they can be quite thin and fragile. Some of them have opal in them. There's a waterline with some opal, some agate formations there. And this is an example of a botryoidal agate nodule geode, and it's got water lines, moss agate, and then the botryoidal formation in there. Here's just some other examples of nodules. And a lot of people, when they first start rock hounding, one of the main things that they think of is, oh, I want to find a geode and I want to find some amethyst. There are reported amethyst geodes from these locations where these come from. There are amethysts that form where this particular geode came from, but most of the amethysts are low quality, faded by UV from the sun, and so they generally look white by the time I get to them if they've been exposed on the surface for any amount of time. When I first wanted to collect geodes, I kind of visualized myself collecting a geode, and I'm not really a metaphysical person, but I was pretty convinced one day that I would be able to just go out and find my geode. And so I ended up climbing up a mountain with that in my mind, and when I got to the top of the mountain, I found this, which is a spectacular geode for our area. It's got secondary formations in it, so you'll notice it has quartz druzy, has some water lines in it. It is a little bit opalized, and it was sitting right where it had eroded out of the volcanic deposit. These form in gas bubbles that had cooled in the lava, and then the silica-rich water and the superheated waters flow up and fill up and into those gas pockets, and over time they can form these waterline agates and then also the quartz crystals that form inside the cavities. And this had eroded out, and it was sitting right at the base of this rhyolite boulder where it had formed, and it was sitting there in two perfect halves. And the reason it was significant that it was at the top of the mountain is because if they roll out in the full nodule and they're hollow, then they get broken up. And that's what these are. These are all naturally broken up, and you can see they can be quite thin and quite fragile. And that's where you come up with these small pieces of druzy. And these are actually generally broken pieces of these geodes that are found in that area. So yeah, the secondary formation inside this one that I've identified as fluorite, that secondary growth formation in there. I identified it based on hardness. So that's my best estimate, is that's a a fluorite crystal. But also I shine UV lights on these, and this fluorite crystal has UV reactive in a different color. These quartz crystals are not UV reactive, but the calcite deposits and the opal and inside this, these layers here do react quite well with UV. And these are phosphorescent. These mineral deposits are phosphorescent, meaning that they glow in the dark for a short period of time after the UV light is turned off. This one is kind of interesting. It has quartz druzy and quartz formations inside of it. And my son asked, he said, what's that? See if we can focus in on it. You can see how that's kind of a secondary formation there in the top. And I'm not sure what mineral that is, but it's an interesting question to try and figure out.